Going over to the Cultural Pod podcast, you have Matt Walsh roasting a leftist saying that the government should take 100% inheritance when people die, leaving nothing for their children. Now, this is brought to us thanks to, of course, Matt Walsh over at x.com, hashtag the Matt Walsh blog. And he's actually responding to LBC. Let's see here. And who's this? This guy's obviously mentally vacuous, Mr. What is this? Louis Goodall? Well, let's hear what he has to say, and I'll go over Matt's response.
What we've got...
Oh, there we go.
What we've got at the moment is an aristocracy of wealth in this country. It's also true of the United States as well. So what I would do, and I wouldn't be opposed to, by the way, I wouldn't be opposed to 100% inheritance tax. Or maybe let's say 99%. You know, my rule might be that if you can put it in 2p bags, then you can hand it over. That's fine. 99, 95%. I'm being provocative, but you see what I mean. I don't
want to say this is a loophole already, but what is the most valuable substance you could purchase to put in those bags? Gold is pretty good, but yeah, I'm already thinking, what could you do to avoid this douchebag's theft?
Not be against a far higher rate of inheritance tax than we have at the moment, which is 40% above a certain threshold.
40% stolen to the government when you die.
I wouldn't be opposed to putting that to 50%, 60%, 70%. Why? Because I think the quid pro quo should be twofold. One, that helps fund public services, which actually helps level the playing field.
So his argument is that the government is good at using money. Yeah, spoiler alert, I'm trying to think of one time the government's ever been good at utilizing money, stealing from people who work like hell and giving it to, well, their own friends and cronies, Republicans and Democrats, as well as a little left over to the people who are dependent or abusing the system.
In achieving a true meritocracy. Two, it will help us reduce taxes on income. Because at the end of the day, I want to incentivize work. I want to incentivize productivity. I want to incentivize people to get up off their backsides and do more. You don't have a right to inherit. You should have a right to work while you're alive and keep more of your own money. That to me is more important, way more important, than your right to just inherit some money from mommy and daddy that you did.
What a douchebag. Oh yeah, you have no right to, your parents, you can't keep your money when you work like hell. But again, it's already stolen. Now, granted, he's across the pond in the weak conquered area that I'm pretty sure is the UK. Sounds like he is. His accent's slightly worse than mine, which is saying something. And yeah, that's obviously evil, immoral, mentally vacuous, stupid, whatever pejorative term you use to appropriately describe his idea. Again, especially the United States. How much does the government, again, Republicans and Democrats steal from us every day? If you are, let's say you live in a state with state income tax. So you got federal income tax, state income tax, you've got gasoline tax, tobacco tax, alcohol tax, capital gains tax, inheritance tax, property tax, you have telecommunications tax, car registration tax. Off the top of my head, that's already 10 without me putting that much of an effort into thinking it. And they just steal. I mean, of every dollar we earn, how much do we actually get to keep at the end of the day? That'd be depressingly small if we actually to calculate it out. And to think you could work your whole life, build something. Again, build upon money that's already been taxed. And then they want to tax it again. In this case, he wants to take, 50% or more, 100%, and give it to the government, who inevitably will piss away with either special interest or their own cronies, or just give away to people who are abusing the system. As we've seen people who are lifetime abusers of government handouts. Again, there are some who actually do need it. It's a bad guy, the people who abuse the system gives it a bad rap for everyone who's actually, some people do successfully utilize some government handouts or help, and they actually pick their, actually get off their, not get off the keister, but they actually get their life back on track. Though that being said, I can't help but think family, friends, nonprofits, and churches would be a million times more effective than doing that, which if we had more of our money, we didn't tax so much of it, we could help each other out even more. I can't help but think that'd be, again, a million times more efficient than what the government tries to do. And I can't help but think and see, more often the government tries to, quote unquote, help, it makes the situation 1,000 times worse. And government housing being one of the issue, being a good one, EBT. People are on, government handouts for the whole life. People who work, quote unquote, work the system, so they never have to get off these things that are supposed to be temporary. Though conspiratorially, maybe I would argue the government does that so that they're always dependent on the system, and they will thereby vote for a bigger and bigger system because, they just get more free stuff. Now, Matt Walsh responded saying, quote, he says, quote, So my children have no right to inherit my money, but some obese EBT welfare queen does have the right to inherit my money. Moral madness, totally indefensible position, which Matt Walsh in this case is, as youth might say, 110% based, correct, awesome, whatever or fun term you prefer. Because again, yes. And again, the money that you're generating, your income, it's already been stolen from once. And then, yeah, he's saying, this guy in the UK saying you can't pass down to your kids. Ridiculous. All the taxes we pay. I really wish there were more people in the US government actually fighting for us to decrease our taxes. Maybe get rid of the income tax on a federal level. Which, again, wasn't a thing for a long time. One of those great examples. And again, people always say tax the rich more. Is a cliche, but again, for the people who don't actually do research, is very the emotional rhetoric is there. They, got push us against each other, pin us against each other. And the average people go, oh yeah, just tax the rich people. The top 1% already pays 45% of all income taxes in the United States. Also, when it comes to income tax, like every tax, or many taxes, they always say, you know what? We're just going to tax the ultra rich just a little bit. It won't affect you, Bobby, or Nick, or Mike, or Muhammad in the US these days. But every single time you give them an inch, they take 5 miles. Now we're all paying, 20, 30, 40 plus percent income tax. Again, it's supposed to be temporary, then just for the ultra rich, and then they kept expanding it, expanding it. Another cliche is highways in the United States. I mean, I partially just for spite pay tolls in pennies when I visit the Midwest. Seriously, pennies for spite, because the state said, oh yeah, we're gonna have a highway. As soon as it pays for itself, the tolls and the taxes, it'll go away. Spoiler alert, it's been over a decade, they still charge tolls. It's more than paid for itself. Which I find a great disdain, because it seems like most temporary taxes, I believe Thomas Jefferson did say, perhaps, wiser man than I did once say there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government solution. Now, go to the comments section. Now, this went pretty well. I got 826,000 views and 33,000 likes. The first comments come to us thanks to the red-headed libertarian. She says, quote, more anti-family rhetoric out of the communist class, gained 1.6 thousand likes. Yep. Matt Van Swole says, quote, building a better life for my kids is literally one of the main reasons I got out of bed every morning. Anyone who says otherwise doesn't have kids themselves or is so severely inside a liberal echo chamber they cannot see out of their own madness. What a stupid take, getting 629 likes. Alex Grace, that poor son of a bitch, he's a conservative stuck in the totalitarian hellhole as Canada, which sucks because I can't imagine being in a place where you don't have freedom of speech, freedom to defend yourself with the Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment, and you're in a Canada with America right there, like freedom is so close. Yeah, he's stuck in that hellhole. I feel bad for Alex. That's why I follow him. He says redistribution is Marxist to its core. Let's ask North Koreans how it's going. Gained 13 likes. Yep. Oh, got quote by Thomas Sowell, so I got to read that. He is brilliant, of course. Jay McConville quotes Thomas Sowell saying, quote, I've never understood why it's greed to want to keep the money you have earned, but not greed to want to take someone else's money. Gained 384 likes, precisely. Policy Wars simply has a screen grab from the movie Fury and says, shoot that guy, get 161 likes. I love American News. It says, fathers matter. There's a guy feeding his baby a bottle. He says, communism failed every time it was ever tried. And the lady goes, can you imagine when we have kids? It's going to be awesome. And he's actually thinking that in his head, giving the kid the bottle and saying communism failed every time it was tried, which, fact check, true. Got 67 likes. Moronic headline says, quote, Republicans want to create generational wealth. Democrats want to create generational welfare. True, getting 207. Whoa. I was about to say 227 likes, getting 234 likes. Yep. You also have Heavy Metal saying the trouble with socialism is that eventually you run out of other people's money, getting 68 likes. Jeff Flynn has a quote from Mr. Winston Churchill, says, socialism is a philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance, and the gospel of envy. Its inherent virtue is the equal sharing of misery, getting 9 likes. Which, Master Chief also says, you either live long enough to become MAGA or wind up becoming Rachel Maddow. Which way, Western man? Is a screen grab of that British newscaster. And he again, they always have those thick, dorky glasses, which again, there are like 10,000 plus different glasses designs. Granted, made by like 2 or 3 companies, but they always choose the dumbest glasses styles ever. Which again, I'm not I'm by no means a fashion aficionado. I just buy one good suit every decade or so, and skyrocket well, debatably. And yeah, he does look almost inebriated and silly there, getting 45 likes, which again, I know I don't have much ground to stand on. You could take a screen grab of any video. There's a lot of a lot of awkward frames where people look stupid. You could argue some have more disproportionate frames looking silly than others. Probably me. But yeah, hopefully more people will realize how evil these types of policies are, and it's never actually rolled out. Actually, I'll do one more. This is from Wall Street Apes, and it was reposted by Mr. Lana Del Rey Nationalist. He says, quote, imagine this woman taking your father's life savings. And of course, she has a nose ring, as I can't but think every gal under the age of 40 has these days. It is ridiculous. I don't know who's telling women it's attractive. Spoiler, 99.9999276% of men do not find nose rings attractive, especially, again, the stupid cow ring. Let's see what she has to say. Maybe she has a very articulate, good reason as to why we should have the government just take away everything we've worked our whole life for. Obviously not, but let's hear what she has to say.
America can't be real. America can't be real. Okay, listen. I applied for food stamps back in, I think, January, and I got denied because I was getting unemployment. My unemployment was a lot. So as soon as my unemployment ran out, I applied again, and they seen I wasn't earning anything, and I didn't put any income down at all. And I don't have really income that you could track, right? Guess how much money in food stamps I'm getting? No, like,
Hopefully nothing.
I also have a daughter.
Of course.
Guess how much food stamps they get? I have no income on nothing I gave them. No income. Guess how much money they gave me? Comment. Whoever comment the best one, I'm cash apping y'all $5. Real, like, cause this shit is crazy.
Hopefully zero. So again, you're on unemployment, which again, unemployment you actually pay into. I don't think you should be forced to pay into unemployment, but I understand the concept. I can't but think we'd actually be better off just, again, not financial advice, but just putting into an S&P 500 index fund, every month, and that way when you need it, that money actually grows, and you can use it when you are unemployed. But nevertheless, in the United States, you're forced to pay into unemployment, Social Security, all that crap, and you take it when you need it. Then she's on unemployment. Then when she ran out, now she's upset she can't get the other stuff. I mean, presumably you're trying to get a job. She also says she can't be tracked, or they don't track her actual income, which maybe she's a musician on the street with a beautiful violin, maybe a Stradivarius violin on the street, composing wonderful music. Or that's a different cash-only business. I'm not going to insinuate what it could be. Lemonade stand, probably something very wholesome like that. But yeah, it's one of those things where I hope more and more people wake up to the fact that the government always sucks in terms of spending money, Republicans and Democrats, and the worst thing possible you could do is to give them more money. But let me know your thoughts and comments, because as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone, everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.